It's been a while since my last. I'm having a shit day. Okay, so I just thought I'd share that with you because, like we say, we tend to try and put a veneer on things, and actually sometimes it's best just to let that veneer slip. Looks like someone's card has fallen out of their car. Yeah. Let's put some. I assume it's theirs. I'll put it there. Yeah, because it's shit living on top of my sister-in-law. Small flat. It, there's never very little time for quiet time for anybody, and for reflection, and for I don't know. And my little boy struggles a bit with cabin fever, and with the weather being wet stuff. People don't want to do so much outdoors. Anyway, I got asked if I don't get this wrong. I was asked by someone if I was an Efilist, an Efilist, which is, turns out I had to look it up, which is part of like a growing trend that I've noticed, and it particularly comes to mind this girl I spoke to in Portugal, a young lady I spoke to in Portugal, lots of piercings. I didn't video the conversation, unfortunately, but she hates herself so much that she doesn't want to have offspring. She doesn't want to have offspring, and there are plenty of men who say, even my mate Clint, oh yeah, I don't. Who would want to? I didn't want to have children because, who'd want to bring a child into this world. And so across the piece, you've got people giving up on humanity and saying, and then a guy asked me today, do you not think we're like the animals or something? I mean, maybe that was part of the same thread. And what's it? Elifist or whatever is like live backwards or something, or life backwards. Someone against life. All life is like nature's scourge, or nature is the scourge. Oh, it's pretty incredible what we get caught up with, things that we think. And I find it a little bit difficult. I'm learning, but I find it a little bit difficult kind of remaining composed when dealing with someone. And I think this might have started because I asked Danny, or Danny, is it Danny? A guy called the social experimentalist. He hates mankind so much that he goes around with a megaphone in London and tells people not to breed anymore. He got into trouble a little while ago for telling some woman it's a shame it's too late, because she walked past with a child. And there's little children here. I won't film because people get sensitive about that these days. And anyway, I mean, this is, by the way, I guess these are 5 or 6 year olds, something like that, just a year or two into school, and the uniform and the cage. Actually, they're all in a cage, by the way, which, there I see behind me, they're in a cage, and they're learning to play against each other, learning for this game here. And we are put into fairly hateful conditions, obviously, such that mothers, mothers that could be females, decry their own divine kind of gift, the gift of becoming a mother and continuing the cycle. But more and more people go, no. One, you shouldn't have many kids, and then those who do have kids, or those who don't, go, But yeah, this young girl to say to me, like, oh no, we're the problem, humans are the problem, and we have to reduce them. And this is This is humanity choosing euthanasia, choosing to kind of minimize and to be thoughtful about how many plants we will bring into how many new beautiful souls we will be bringing onto the plane for an experience, because we dislike ourselves and we dislike this experience so much. That's all been by design, and these people, like this young lady in Portugal who really, and she and her friends were all grungy. They were kind of living out of, in squats and wherever they could. They were totally anarchistic in the sense that they were, they believed they were against government and they were against the system. And yet the system still had them. The system still had them, had their minds twisted again, climate change, Greta, we're the problem, humans must die, all this sort of stuff, and we're no better than the animals, we're at their level, and I mean, I know some people are this is what we're becoming. We're actually believing that. We're believing we're simply barbaric animals with a little bit of consciousness of some sort. It's complete inversion of what our creation shows to us. In nature is constantly trying to increase the offspring and looking for room to move the offspring to cram them into these cities, make them sick and horrible, and turn them against each other and themselves, such that they won't even want to bring new life into nature. Imagine if the trees had got to be so messed up that they didn't want to bear seed, or that they wanted to poison the soil such that the seed couldn't take hold, or drown it, or drought it, which seems to me to be one of the big things, isn't it, coming more and more obvious, that water and water ownership and the cost of water to the individual to drink it. It's not just about profit. They're taking us along a way where people will eventually be happy to accept very draconian controls over the access to water. Oh, water's so scarce, you shouldn't be allowed to drink any. Or you're old and you should only get 10 milliliters per day. Get fed to you by one of those gerbil droppers. This is how they get us to kind of hate ourselves, and how they've got young women who don't want to have children, who really don't want to get, I saw how my parents did it, or I saw how this world has become, and I do not want to be a part of that. That's what they're thinking, or bring someone into this terrible world in which people are. That's what you hear more and more. And then the guy asked me if I'm Efilist, I think. Look it up if you're interested. There's something else. It's associated to another named group of misguided brethren, which is something to do antinatalism. I think is what it's called, antinatalism, and that does what it says on the tin. It's obvious. Pregnancies, first point of contact. And this guy Danny Shine, that's his name, is like, I think he's a well-meaning guy. I think he actually is, wants the system to be better than it is. But again, has bought the propaganda that says we're overpopulated and we're like a scourge. My friends, the earth is flat and we are not the scourge. We are the creation. We are the Creator's creation. And our husbandry of our humanity, like the husbandry of the land, should be exemplary. But we don't control that. Right now we don't control that, and I think we have to, over time, come to control more of that. In ways that are not angry with the system, with the status quo, but in ways that are loving to ourselves, and such that love will be what we spread, not more anxiety, more separation, more kind of hatred of the self. Oh my gosh, how we can hate ourselves. It's clever, and they've done it through the Hollywood, they've done it through movies, they've done it through the news, they've done it through false flags. And maybe it's just simply the sugar and the fluoride and all the other shite they poison us with. I saw a young girl just now. I said to her, she had on her t-shirt the NASA logo, inside of it the words what were the words, dirty or something like that, something along those lines. And I said, oh, excuse me, do you know that NASA's hoaxing space or faking space? She said no, which meant that her t-shirt had just borrowed the NASA logo and was putting that symbol. You see, on some people they go, I'm dirty or skanky or whatever, you know, they actually put these words on themselves. Yeah, we need to learn to love ourselves and our humanity. This is what we're here for, not to live in hatred, to grow the love, grow the light. So, on that note, have a good day.